Oh, I'm live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunch with Lisa. I'm Lisa Shield, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. I thought that today I would talk about what I see as being one of the biggest issues for women who are dating today, who are single, and who have never had a truly healthy, loving, passionate, connected relationship that lasted in their lifetime. So I'm going to talk about what I think is stopping a lot of you from having this. And I'm just going to give you some straight talk today because this has really been up for me. In fact, I just got off of an hour and a half phone call with a woman who, after I shared deep insights about what wasn't working in her love life and how she could solve it, her answer to me was, "So, what dating site should I be on? And can you give me a little tweak that might help me in this area?" After we had spent an hour and a half together uncovering what was going on. And that's what she wanted, a little tweak, some little thing that she could do to make this all okay. And I know a lot of you feel like you've been working really hard in this part of your life to get this solved. You've been going on dates, you talk to your girlfriends, you YouTube, you read books, you're doing all kinds of things. Maybe some of you have even done some workshops and gone to therapy and all. And it feels like, hey, but I am trying, I am doing this. And I'm going to assert that I'm going to ask you all to really look at how committed you are to having your dream. How committed are you to actually bringing true and lasting love into your life? How committed are you to that process? Because I know for most of the women I talk to, they're a lot like this woman I mentioned a few seconds ago. They think that there's just some little tweak or some minor thing that they're missing. And if they could just figure that one thing out, right? Which dating site to be on or writing the perfect profile. But what was true was that this woman that I'm speaking of, she was 55 years old. 55. In 55 years, she'd never had a truly healthy, happy, connected, loving relationship. In 55 years. And she thought that there was just a tweak that was going to get this thing solved. Which dating site do I get on? And, what can I tweak so that I can be more feminine or connect with this guy? So here's what I want to say. Over the course of my own life, I've stepped back and I've, at different periods, at different points in life, I've taken a step back and I've decided, looked at my life and I've asked myself, what are the persisting problems? What are the problems in my life that have been there for years and are not going away? And to be frank, when I started doing this, I had to admit that there were a lot of issues and problems in my life that weren't getting solved. And what I realized was that I wasn't really solving them. I would take a stab at it. I'd go, oh my God, I've got to lose weight. And then I'd talk myself into the next fad diet. And then I'd go to Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or something like that. For a few years, I was a vegetarian, thinking that would help me control my eating. I only ate more pasta and bread. So that wasn't a solution. But I tried a lot of different things. And I knew that if I wanted to get this solved, I had to take it seriously. I had to literally look at this issue and admit that my best efforts were not getting it solved and that I needed help. And so that's what I did when it came to food. I looked at my eating, my relationship to food, and I realized that no fad diet. There was no little tweak that was going to solve my relationship to food. I actually had to face this head on and deal with this issue in my life if I was going to get it solved. And so in terms of solving my overeating or my compulsive eating issue, I wound up going to a 12-step program. And believe me, this was not something I ever saw myself doing. Actually, I thought that 12-step programs replaced an addiction to food or alcohol or drugs with an addiction to this program, and then people were reliant on it and then they could never really get out of it. And so I decided, my dad was an alcoholic, and I knew that compulsive eating, binge eating, came under the umbrella of being an addiction. And so I just decided, it wasn't like, oh, was that the best solution or the only solution or whatever, but I decided that I needed to face this thing and I needed real help. And going to a 12-step program was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. And it was one of the most rewarding. It was so out of my comfort zone. It was so anathema to anything I had done prior. I don't like groups. I'm not great at, getting up in front of a group and sharing, although here I am on a Facebook Live talking to all of you. So yes, I did this thing that was so out of my comfort zone, but it turned out to be one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It didn't just teach me about having a relationship with food. Food was a metaphor for life, and it helped me bring what I learned from the 12 steps and 12 traditions into my whole life. So I'm not saying that that's the only way to deal with a food issue, but what I'm saying is for 4 years, every single day, I called my sponsor. I told my sponsor what I was going to eat that day. I weighed and measured my food, and I went to 3 12-step meetings a week. And it was such an incredible discipline. I had never had discipline in my life before, and this was amazing. It taught me all kinds of things about how to run my life, how to interact with people, how to keep my side of the street clean. Anyway, the purpose of telling that story is that I looked at this ongoing issue in my life, and I really sobered up, and I said, Lisa, this isn't just going to go away. You've got to address it. And the next issue that I decided to resolve in my life was finding love. I had been in a 13-year marriage to a pathological liar, and I'd never, ever really had a boyfriend who was the kind and caliber of man I really saw myself being with. I'd never had the courage to go for a relationship like that. I wanted one. I wanted a magnificent relationship with just a man that I was proud to walk through life with, right? But I knew when I had this second sobering conversation with myself that if I was being honest with myself, what I wanted and I felt I deserved, I wasn't yet ready to be in a relationship like that. I didn't have the emotional wherewithal. I didn't have the self-confidence. I didn't understand men enough to be able to relate to them in the way that I would need to relate to a stellar man. Those guys know what they're looking for, and they want grown women who are mature and kind and generous, just like we want men who are going to, show up for us and make us feel feminine and be great partners, protect us and cherish us and all. But I didn't really know what a man wanted from me, other than sex, of course. And I didn't know how to relate to men and ask for what I wanted and needed from them in a relationship. And so this was sobering because I humbled myself and I said, Lisa, you've really, you can have this relationship that you're longing for. It exists. It's real. There's not a reason in the world you can't have it, but you're going to have to start to do the work on yourself to have that. This isn't just going to happen. There's no tweak. There's no little bit of advice or dating site, perfect dating site. There's no perfect man who could help me be the woman I needed to be in order to have that relationship. And what I realized is that the single most important thing of all was my commitment to myself and my dream. So I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know how I was going to make this happen. I didn't know, I didn't have a plan or a love coach to help me do this like I had with the 12-step stuff. But I knew I could get it done. I knew that if I kept on the path of growth and learning, if I kept reaching for deeper and deeper levels of living the spiritual truths, living a life where I was being true to all the spiritual principles that I was learning, if I was true to opening my heart to men, we all want a great guy, or I wanted a great guy. And the truth was, to attract a man like I wanted, I needed to be comfortable in my own skin. I needed to understand men and how they think, right? What they wanted from me and needed from me as a woman and as a partner. I needed to know how to listen to a man, how to talk to them, right? Not to talk over them, not to interrupt them. I needed to learn how to be okay with silence. Most men are not talkers. They like more silence. They need more silence than women do. Some of you may be very quiet, and that's okay, but a lot of women just are so ebullient, I think is the right word, exuberant, and we have these big, lively personalities, and it's okay to be fun and full of life, but it is so important with great men to know how to rein that in and to be, to respect a man's need for space and to be able to give him time to talk. I don't know if many of you realize that. Here's a great thing about men to know. They do not think as quickly as we do. They process internally, so they need time to think about their answers to questions. And as women, we just bulldoze right over them a lot of the time. Like we'll be at dinner and we'll be talking and we'll ask them a question, and then they'll really be thinking about the answer to that question. And we'll be off and running and already making up a story, or, he didn't think it was interesting, or we'll talk right over him and not even give him a chance to answer the question. Right? So when you're talking to a man and you ask him a question, you actually have to ask the question and then just sit and count. And you may find yourself counting to 30, right? You may have to sit there and go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I'm not kidding. But it's not that he isn't thinking. He is. He just is really taking the time to contemplate what you just asked him. And this is really key. You want to be careful that you're not talking over men. This is why a lot of times they'll get very short and frustrated with you because you're just going, and you're not giving them room to think and respond. So learning how to be with a man and make space for a man and allow men to really be able to show up with you on a date and really share themselves. I am not talking about those guys that, talk and don't ask you questions and aren't interested in getting to know you and feel self-absorbed. I'm not talking about those men. I'm talking about men like my husband, Benjamin, who is kind and patient and who would do anything in the world within his power to make me happy. This man is extraordinary. But I also give him the space and the encouragement to be that kind of man with me. I make it comfortable for him in this relationship so that he wants to do those things for me. He loves doing them. Like my birthday's coming up on August 28th. Wow. a little over a month from now. That's insane. So I am turning 60, and my husband, who's an angel, he spent, I think, God knows, like something like a month and a half just putting together a trip for me to go to Barcelona and Portugal for my 60th birthday. So that's going to be pretty extraordinary. But he did that for me. And partly the why he, I never had a man do those things for me before. How many of you have been waiting, just waiting for a guy to come along who would do those kinds of things for you, who would bend over backwards, right, to make your 60th birthday special, or your, 30th or 40th or 50th birthday, but a man who really took it upon himself, right, who felt that that was his great joy in life, was to be able to make you happy, to spend time with you. I know what it was like not to have that. I didn't have this in my life for almost 41 years until I met Benjamin, right? I never had a man who would do those things for me. And for a long time, like a lot of you, I told myself that I didn't need it, that I wasn't needy. All I wanted was a simple guy, a simple life, and a man who'd take walks with me and cuddle on the sofa. And I didn't need gifts, and I didn't need anything extravagant. And I told myself that, and I made it. How many? I'm curious how many of you are doing this, settling in your own life for less than you really want, watching other women, right? And I'm not saying we're jealous of those women, although I would admit that a part of me really was. I was envious of women who, men would do these things for. And really, in my heart of hearts, it broke my heart that there was no man who had ever done those things for me. And I asked myself, why? Why were men doing things for other women? Why were they buying them beautiful things, marrying them, taking them on trips, chasing them, pursuing them? And they weren't doing that for me. What was it that I was doing that wasn't making it possible for a man, or showing a man that I wanted him to do those things for me? And I realized that I wasn't showing men that I was open and receptive to them. And I'm sure many of you are doing the same thing. I know it. I know I'm not the only one. I couldn't possibly be. A lot of you just take the lead because you're too masculine. A lot of you are running the show because, that's what you do. You take care of everybody else, and you're so busy taking care of everyone else, that, there's not even room for someone to take care of you, right? Not even room, because you're just doing for this one and that one and for the guy and whatever. And a guy doesn't even think you need him to do those things for you. You've got to show men that you are receptive, that you want them to take care of you, that you love that, and get excited when they do it, and encourage them to do it. And I will tell you, they want to. If a man is attracted to you, if he's going on dates with you, he doesn't just want to get you into bed. He wants to see if he can make you happy. He wants to see if you're the kind of woman who's receptive and fun to be with, and somebody that he would really like to please, to spend his life pleasing and being with. That's what men do, or that's what a lot of men do, right? There are men who will bend over backwards to make you happy. In fact, my husband said to me, he said, he woke up one morning, I was in the kitchen, and he came in and he looked at me and he said, everything I do is for you. He said, I was laying in bed thinking about that. And then he paused and he thought for a moment, and he just looked at me and he said, yeah, everything I do is for you. And I stopped and I thought about that. And I thought, wow, Everything I do is for him, for him. Everything. Staying in shape, looking good, dressing up, being a success in my business. I do those things because they contribute to our life together, to making the life that we both have more beautiful, easier, more peaceful, right? When I contribute financially, it benefits both of us. We get to buy the things we want and go on the kinds of vacations we want to go on, and we get to move in the middle of a pandemic. My husband and I went to Santa Fe for a few months, and we just up in the middle of the pandemic, we decided that we didn't want to go back to LA. We looked at 3 properties and bought the 6th one, or the 3rd one. That math would not work. You can't look at 3 properties and buy the 6th one. But yeah, so we did. It was amazing. Amazing. One of the great adventures of my whole life, right? In the middle of the pandemic, we bought a beautiful home. Our handyman, who was like family to us, he and his family packed everything and shipped it to us in pods. We never went back to LA. And my girlfriend put our house on the market and sold it within a month. And here we are, like living our dream in Santa Fe. We just bought an 18th century greenhouse, French greenhouse, and we're putting glass in the whole thing. And it's going to be an outdoor dining area where we can sit in the snow and the rain, you know, with that falling all around us in this beautiful glass house, and just have dinner, you know, have friends and dinner, and we're landscaping the whole thing. I mean, it's just so beautiful to be creating all of this with the man I love, with the love of my life, right? My partner. I mean, could I do it alone? Yeah, but why would I want to? Why? Why would anybody want to do this alone? And that's the thing. If you take your love life seriously, if you commit to your dream and you get the right help to get this solved so that you're not out there throwing mud at the wall, why wouldn't you work with an expert? Why wouldn't you find the best coach or mentor you could possibly find to just help you get this solved so that you can wake up tomorrow and the day after and the year after that and the year after that, knowing that you've crossed meet my soulmate off your to-do list and that you've got this solved. Here's the thing. I did the work. I did it. I know how to find an extraordinary man and create a loving, lasting, lifelong relationship with him. Isn't that what you want to do? Just get this solved so that you can start living the dream? If that's you, then please, please, please go to lisashield.com. Okay, and just watch, whoops, I misspelled my name, lisashield.com. Whoops. I'm going to try this again. Go to lisashield.com, and then what you want to do is click the button to go watch my free 45-minute presentation. You'll love it. It's a great presentation, and hopefully it's going to wake you up. It's going to make you start to think about how much you don't know about how to get this solved, right? And how you're spinning your wheels out there, wishing and hoping and praying for a miracle. And you're just letting time go by. Smart women who are successful, who are top of their field, they didn't get there on their own. They had great mentors and coaches and people who showed them the way. Now they're there, but every single person who's who's living the life of his or her dreams, they worked with top coaches to get the things they want most in life. That's what top coaches do. They've solved these issues for you, and then they just give you the step-by-step plan for getting there. So that's what I can do in this part of your life. I can give you what I believe is the best step-by-step plan out there for getting you your dream. Okay, so please do me a favor, go to lisashield.com and watch my 45-minute presentation. If you love what you hear and it really strikes a chord with you, be brave and sign up for a 45-minute to an hour and a half call with me or a member of my team. We will show you how we can help you get this solved. There isn't a reason in the world why you should let another day go by without love. You need to commit to your dream, admit that you do not have it all figured out, and that all that's going to happen if you keep trying to do this on your own is that you're going to waste more precious time. So let's jump on a call. Let me show you, or let one of my team members show you how we can help you get this solved so you can find a guardian of your soul for the rest of your life. I'm Lisa Shield. This has been Lunch with Lisa. Please do me a favor and give me a thumbs up or a heart if you liked what you heard. Also, I would love it if you would come on my Tuesday Facebook Live. That one is from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And that one is called Live with Lisa. It's so good. Lisa rhymes with live and lunch. We get some alliteration there. And then also, please, if you can, I would love it if you would join my husband and me for our Sunday morning Facebook Live at 10 a.m. Mountain Time every Sunday. And that is called Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. So that is an absolutely incredible broadcast. Truly, my husband and I sit and we talk about all kinds of dating and relationship related issues. And Benjamin really opens up from a male perspective. So please come and watch that as well. And I will see you next Monday at the same time. Love to everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.